Let's talk about it.
Come on in, family. We got another powerful show.
Truth and power. Health. Wealth. Knowledge of self. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power. Health. Wealth. Knowledge of self. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about it.
All right, man. Peace and blessings. Hotep to everybody. Man, we had a phenomenal show yesterday with Chief Elder. Again, I took a week off and we are coming back hard. So let's start the show off and I can introduce my guest for the day.
You are now tuned in to Real Truth and Power, the show that uplifts the community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Here's your host, Everett Winchester.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. We got a phenomenal show today. I'm interviewing the youth. I'm interviewing another positive, strong brother by the name of Israel George Lawrence. And he's one of the founders of the Young Black Nationalist Party. So I wanted to talk to the brother about it, see what's going on. And I'm very excited to get him on here. So let me pull him in and see what's going on. Before I bring my brother in, though, I got to let you guys know. You got to go to these channels and subscribe. We're giving away prizes. Go to the YouTube channel, Real Truth and Power. On YouTube, we will be giving away, I believe, $100 maybe this weekend or next Monday or Tuesday. So you want to go to that channel, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the alert button so you can get all the alerts of our next show. Also, go to the Collect the Black People Movement. Collect the Black People Movement's YouTube channel. We did a phenomenal event with the Collect the Black People Movement in the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, Africa League Community and Community League, and it was phenomenal. It was a 24-hour event on Zoom. So I definitely want to make sure you guys go to the Collect the Black People Movement channel so you can watch that 24-hour event. It's a whole bunch of black power, black people coming together with love. So definitely check that out. But without further ado, let me bring on my young, powerful soldier, Israel. Hold on one second. All right, family. I'm blessed to have my brother, George Israel Lawrence. He is one of the founding members of the Young Black Nationalist Party. I'm excited to talk to him about that party and everything. Brother Israel, introduce yourself to the people and tell them a little brief background about yourself.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me. Thank you to everybody who put me in this position. Thank you. My name is Israel George Lawrence. I am one of the founding members, and I consider myself, and they consider me, the president of the Young Black Nationalist Party. I come from the Maryland, called the DMV, but the DC metropolitan area. And basically, I feel as though this area has put me in place because I grew up in PG, basically. So the richest black county in America, right?
Yeah.
I think it put me in a certain place where I got a very unique outlook on being black in America because everybody I saw around me was like me. I was around a bunch of Black individuals who were the top in their fields, whether it be in, STEM, whether it be in medicine, whether it be in my grandmother's a lawyer. So it's like I just came from a pedigree of people telling me that Black people are great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not necessarily greater than anybody else, because no one wants to think like that, but they're not what they try to tell us that we are.
Right.
So building on that type of ideology that came from my grandparents and my parents and my family, and just personal research by myself, I just thought that we should have a place, like have a voice for all Black people. And that's what the Young National Black Party, sorry.
You good?
Yeah, the Young Black Nationalist Party stands for. We just want to be a voice for all Black people. We put the young in there because, there's a lot of young people coming up. We just want to, like you said, a bunch of different organizations. So we're just adding our flavor to the mix, pretty much.
Now, let's go into detail about the Young Black Nationalist Party, because the first thing I noticed was it's about young people. You're young yourself. You're in college. Talk about how important it is for your age group, the youth, to start speaking out. And I got to be honest, a lot of the protests and everything is your generation that's going on right now, making major changes. So talk a little bit about that.
All right. Oh, thank you. My bad, something went out. But yes, I think it actually started, I would probably say the day that the Young Black Nationalist Party was born was the following weekend. Me and my friends, we had gone to the riots, the protests and everything. We had gone to the protests with the intention just to protest, and intention just to, get our voice heard and just, support the movement.
Right.
And we go out there and you see, like you said, it's people who look like me, people a few years older, a few years younger in some cases. I'm only 18.
Right.
But one of my friends out there with me, he was 16, 17. And I was out there, and you really see that this looks like something we've seen before. Like, history repeats itself in everything we do, right?
Right.
I remember the original parties, the Black Panther Party, all the other different organizations and different movements throughout time, and the civil rights movement especially. And you look at those people, and those people were young. The young people were out there. That's just how it is. The young, they are, what's the word? They are a little bit more energetic, I guess you could say.
That's true. Yes, that's true.
So they have to use that energy out and put it out. And they're got to be the ones who are out there yelling and screaming and, physically doing stuff. It's our elders, like you, our elders that are put in place, and they sit back and they talk with the people. And because they through age, you get wisdom, for most people, not everybody, but some people actually do grow wisdom. And wisdom tells you, I always say the difference between wisdom and being smart is that smart people learn from their own mistakes.
That's
so
right.
Young people are smart. Wise people learn from mistakes of others. So the older people have to be wise. And we just realized that it's our time to step up and do what we have to do. I want to enable every young person, every Black person in general, but every young person, especially of our creed and color, to realize that this is their position and this is their time, because we all knew things were supposed to be like this. But hey, our families always tell us that's just what it is, and you have to do this and that. But I was always under the impression that this is not just is what it is. Like, we could really do something to change this. And what other fight is there to fight? You know what I mean?
That's right.
So we have to do this. So
right.
I just want to make sure everybody understands that, especially for my age group.
Right. Well, it's a blessing when I see young Black men like yourself being fully energized in any movement that's positive, but especially a movement like the Young Black Nationalist Party that's uplifting our community, doing good things and fighting. Let me ask you, because we're from different generations. I get a lot of people that say maybe our generation kind of dropped the ball in giving you guys leadership. Do you think that is true? Do you think that, do you have elders in your life that provide leadership, so you never even really thought of it that way?
No, I was always, well, no, first of all, let me address I don't think that's true at all.
Okay.
Well, you know, let me just break it down. Basically, I would say is, from my point of view at least, is I always knew that this is how things work. You know what I mean? That when it comes to a true revolution, a true movement, because that's what we're in right now, we all need to understand that when it comes to a true revolution, a true movement, there are no old martyrs. You know what I mean? There's a reason behind that. Not just
Right.
because a lot of them got killed at a young age. It's because like that type of energy and that type of hunger and that type of fierceness. I understand that you're gonna have that until you're up until whatever age you get, but it's presented differently. You're not gonna have that same drive, that same energy to go out there and do the things that need to be done in that sense. So we all know what has to happen, especially when it comes to the youth put in place and what they have to do. But I was never under any pressure by the people who were, over me, the people who taught me and raised me, that my generation was going to be the one to have to lead one day. Because
Right.
that's kind of how societies work, civilizations work. The old teach the young in hopes and in promise that one day the young will be the old. You know what I mean? They will be the ones that will take care of them and take care of everything. And we hope that what they pass down is the knowledgeable tools that we need to see. If there's
Mhm.
any sense in dropping a ball from our older generations, no offense, you know
Yeah.
how some of us are. Some of us maybe dropped the ball because either they didn't pass anything down at all, or they passed down the wrong things.
Right.
Because you do have a lot of like people who are not doing the best things for us as a people, let alone as a movement. So those people passing down those things, yeah, they passed something down, but it wasn't really a good thing. And some people didn't pass
Right.
anything down at all. And then sometimes you do put leaders into place, and we see that all the time. Look at our oppressor. Look at our opposite. They pass down leadership to the young, and sometimes you see like I don't know how you got this job. If you
Right.
if your last name didn't have the same last name as him, y'all wouldn't have the same job. Y'all wouldn't have the job. Like, and so, I mean, hey, everybody's at fault. Everybody's people. So we had that same situation too. But I would feel the only drop in the ball could really come from us thinking that young people and old people and just all Black people in general are somehow not needed for this movement to succeed. Because there is no movement without all Black people, or
That's
like
right.
just all people in general. But definitely, like, we need the women, we need the men, we need the old, we need the young. No matter sexual orientation, creed, religion, we just understand that we've been separated for too long. You
Right.
know, geographically and psychologically, we just been separated for way too long, and we need to not be separated anymore. United, united we
Yeah.
rule.
That's right. I think it's very important for Black people to be united around the diaspora, around the world. So that's the Marcus Garvey vision, and so
Yeah.
that's very important. I want to talk about your party a little bit. I know you just started founding it. How did you go about recruiting members? Is your membership doing okay? Is it a bunch of your friends, people in your school? How's that going as far as membership and recruiting?
So when it first started, well, still kind of it's first starting, but when it was fresh, we had a, let's say, founding board of just me and like three other friends, the ones that went to the protest originally.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we started to spread out. Hey, anybody think like us? Anybody, like-minded individuals, because we all
That's right.
understand what needs to happen. And then we got about 20 members from that alone. Right
Wow.
now, we're kind of, yeah, right now we're kind of stagnant because of just a few issues with vision, I would say. Because my vision personally for the party and for the movement is to be, in a sense, I don't know how to explain it, but in a sense, I want it to be like I said, wise people learn from mistakes of others. So I'm looking
Right.
back and I'm seeing how everybody else messed up because we had such beautiful movements and we're having such beautiful movements right now. What are the holes in those movements that could fix them? I would say that while we do need a central, form of leadership and the central form of this is the set members and these are the members, I also feel as that is what we have done in the past, and we have shown that sometimes that doesn't go as well
Correct.
as.
Correct.
But now we're seeing that the Black Lives Matter movement, we're seeing how successful that really is in a sense that no matter how you feel about it, no matter if you're for or against it, if you think they're for or against us, you have to acknowledge that that movement is more than it was when it was just a phrase. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a couple years ago, that was just, you know, a slogan, right? It's a movement now, like a multi-billion-dollar movement. And whether that's good or bad, the point is because of that, it's a movement and it's allowed to breathe and grow because there is no, like, you can't come up here and tell you who's the leader of the Black Lives Matter movement. You
I
can
actually
say
don't
who's,
know. Right.
that's what I'm saying. You could say the person who started it, the people who started it, you can say people who own it, but other than that, you legit do not know the leader, because there is no real leader. It's a decentralized movement, and that's why I want to mimic in a sense, because you
Mhm.
can't kill that movement. Like I said, there's no old martyrs, and that's for a reason, because they usually get killed off. You know, that's one of the reasons. And you can't kill a movement if there is no head. Like like Hydra, like in a sense, you cut off one head, two grow back. Yeah, you could take out this leader, but there is no real leadership. So who you gonna take out? You're just gonna take
Right.
out somebody, or you're gonna
Exactly.
stop one voice. And that's why I want
Exactly.
to mimic. That's why I want to mimic as much as possible. Just decentralized movement, but with central, like with like a kind of a mix of the both. Just try and get the
Right.
best of both worlds to make the as successful as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, we're here with my brother Israel George Lawrence, and we're just talking about his organization, the Young Black Nationalist Party. I don't want to hold you up too long. I just want to get a little bit more information out of you. Um, just talk about, is there anything in the future that you guys plan on doing? Maybe a rally, a protest, or just maybe a meeting or so forth to recruit new members?
Oh, we're planning on doing all of that. We actually were in the process of planning a a meeting before, but because of coronavirus and stuff like that, we were trying to make sure we're doing it the right way, because it's one thing for a group of friends to meet up. When you're talking about an actual organization and, you know, trying to do something like that, it's being become a lot more complex and complicated, and
Yes.
it's a lot liability and stuff like that. So as of right now, the any available like meetings, or let's say like rallies, anything, are kind of not up in the air, but we're willing to do whatever. If we get enough people who are interested, or even if we get just a few people, because like I said, like-minded individuals, I just want to speak to like-minded people. Also want to, you know, educate more of my brothers and more of my sisters. So that's all I'm really here to do. So when it comes to rallies, anything, we're open for whatever. And I am planning on having something soon, but I don't know if I would like to have another kind of like us going to the protest together, because I'm not sure how much those things are going to benefit us in the long run, because you can only protest so much. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Eventually, you got to say something. You got to speak to somebody. So
You
I'm
got
kind of,
you got to have something in place to show action.
you know, literally, because like
Right.
if we're all just here and we're all just speaking and we're all just angry. I understand the anger, but we understand that's not how movements work, right? That's just a part of it. So I just want to make sure that I would rather our next meeting be something big, something we can actually, you know, talk to some people and speak to people. But I realize, you know, stepping stones and everything. So first we'll probably have to have some few little meetings to talk to people, which we're probably gonna end up doing anyway.
Right.
Just me, I'll be thinking so far.
No, you have to. You have to, start an organization. You got to have building blocks. Like you say, you guys went out there on a protest, got energized and said, hey, we want to be a movement. We want to put our stamp on things. And then as you go, you start sometimes your mindset changes as you see things. So I like how you're saying, and you want to learn from the elders. You want to proceed with caution, but be aggressive while you proceed. I love it. I exactly know what you're doing. Um, Talk
Thank you,
about
sir.
talk. I want to talk to you a little bit and just get the mindset of the youth. Let me ask you a few more questions. Talk about when you saw the video of George Floyd. Um, Talk about how that affected you and your peers. Seeing that video, where was your mindset at that time?
I would like to speak handily if I can.
Yes, be direct.
Definitely,
That's what we did.
definitely from my point of view is I'm not going to say that I'm not like a lot of people my age, because the thing is, as a group, we're fed up. we honestly are, because like you look back and you just see so many wrongs. Like despite what anything could be said, this might be this might be that. They're just wrong. They're just not how you should be. Things should be proceeding. So we understand that that needs to be changed. But if I want to speak for myself for points of view is for a second, is that I am a particularly angered individual about all of this. Like I don't know if I ever was okay with the way they treated us. Because like I said, I never grew up in a sense that this is just that racism is just, them treating us not so kindly. Or racism is better now. We got a black president, all that stuff. I was never raised up in that thinking. My
Right.
thinking was people always taught me that ain't nothing really changed. Slavery never went away. It just transformed and it just keep evolving. There is
Exactly.
nothing has gotten better in any type of sense to the ability to from what I see, and everything's just evolving and changing. So I am personally, I would just say I'm furious, and I like to think that most of the people around me and most of my peers feel that way too. I'm just furious because the things they did to our ancestors, I want payback for that, and I want justice for what they're doing to us now because nothing's like I said, nothing stopped. I would like to say personally for that video, like to address the actual question you asked about when I watched the video, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I still haven't seen the video all the way through. I refuse to watch it. Like I
It's
refuse to
tough.
because I saw it and I saw it. I've seen it like I
Like
would say
sections
countless.
of it, right?
Yeah, countless times I've seen sections of it. And I was like,
Right.
I just really don't want to be a part of this. I really don't
Yeah.
want to look at this because
It's
like
tough.
it's like I see him and I don't, and you don't even have to see every black man, every black boy, because it happens to every black man, every black boy. And he's calling out for his mother, the
Hmm.
black woman, and who was more like I say this all the time: the black woman is the most oppressed class of person on the planet, and the black man is most endangered because they will oppress and torture and do sadistic things
Teach,
to the
young
black
brother.
woman,
Teach. You teaching.
to, to the black woman while she's alive, and they just don't want us to live, so they'll try
Right.
to kill us off, and it's all really deep into like what it really is and all that stuff, but that's not really the point here way or other. The point is that this is not a civil rights issue at all. It's a human rights issue because we never been treated as citizens. We've never been looked at as citizens. We've been looked at as less than human, and we've been treated as such. So it's not a civil rights issue. This is not a civil rights movement. It's a human rights movement.
That's
And
right.
you look at and you even look at the civil rights movement and John Lewis, he just passed away the other day. And like you mentioned Marcus Garvey earlier, it was his birthday yesterday, I believe. It was August 17th, I believe. But these these men, I read their books and I listen to them speak, and I'll be like, this is my thinking, right? I think the same way. I feel the same way. I'm at this protest right now. I'm talking to somebody right now to trying to fix these things. Is this just a new form of what they did? Like, is this just, am I going to keep doing all this and keep living one day and tell my kids the same thing? We got to keep on fighting because I can't live with that as a possibility. I really can't. I just really can't live with thinking that my kids will have to do the same thing. That one day when I die, they'll have in memory of me, hey, he did a lot for our movement, a lot for us. We're gonna keep on fighting. I don't want us to have to keep on fighting. I want everything to change right now, and that's how I feel. I hope everybody around me feels that way. I think everybody around me feels that way. It comes to my age group because we're just fed up. We're not going. I can't allow it. So we're
Right.
going to do something.
Now let me ask you this before I let you go, and if you feel uncomfortable, you don't answer. Speaking
It's
on your
fine.
peers, and when I mean your peers, not particularly your age group, your peers, your age, but your friends,
Hmm.
guys, females that you associate with, females, males. What's your opinion on the elections, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? What do you think? What's the young take on that ticket? I'm definitely curious on what your age group is thinking because you're ready to vote now.
Yeah, it's my first year to
That's
vote
right.
actually, and like I said, I'm a particular person, so I have a point of view, and then everybody else has a point of view. So I'll give you everybody else's point of view. Everybody else is just thinking that, in a sense, get rid of Trump, right? Just get rid of Trump at any means necessary. And at the end of the day, the opposite party is still Democrats, and we, as Black people, have been treated and taught and been conditioned that Democrats are for us and we need to go with Democrats.
Right.
So that's what everybody around me is feeling. And I have a few friends who actually are Republican, and I actually do have a few friends who are a little more knowledgeable in politics, and for some reason still side with Trump. Because, like I said, there's good and bad for both sides. But personally, this is how I feel, and it's kind of a hot take, just how I feel. I know, like I already know. There is no veil over my eyes. I know that neither of these people are good for us. Like they're basically the same person. If you look at Trump and you look at Biden and you go down the check mark, they're literally the same type of person. Like they do the same things. They've oppressed Black people just as much, maybe even more on one side, Biden, to be honest. But
with the laws and stuff, you're right.
yeah, and especially Kamala Harris. And I don't get me wrong, I kind of like wanted her to be picked as vice president, just for the least, it would be just to have a Black woman in office, like directly, because there's always Black women behind the scenes and
Right.
everything, but like directly put out into office. But we're not going to act like that woman hasn't incarcerated more Black men and Black people than one single figure in the last, I don't know, decade. Like, you can't look at anybody else that you can name, that a normal person can name, and be like, that person did more against Black people when it comes to incarceration than Kamala Harris. And that's just a fact. I'm just sorry, that's what it is. I don't support either of them. I don't want either of them as president, to be perfectly honest with you. But I realize that I'm hoping, because the people around me are hoping, that
Getting rid of one might be better than you can work.
Yes, because at least Trump is just a wild card, and I don't believe that they are not going to do whatever they want anyway. But Trump is like, I don't know if he wants somebody in office. At least if I'm planning on living like I am now, I don't know if we want that type of person in office, because who knows? Tomorrow he might be in a war or
Right.
three. But I'm also under no impression that any future with Biden and Harris is going to be better. It may be different, maybe
Right.
a different flavor, but it's not going to be necessarily better. And also, I'm under the impression that, just the way I feel, I kind of all wanted this. Like, it's going to be a real hot take, and apologies to anybody who's watching this.
No, go for it.
I don't want this regime. That's really what it is. A regime, this empire of America. I don't want it to be here no more. Like, I just want it to kind of topple and burn, because of the fact that there is no America that isn't white supremacy. Like, it doesn't work like that. We could figure something out in the future. We could talk to some people in the future, but America is white supremacy. That's all it is. It is imperialism. That's all it is. So there is no saving this country for us. Not for like the true Black people that really understand what's going on, for the Black people that really understand how bad it is out here. We understand that this is not for us. So we kind of need to let this whole thing topple and burn. We need to sit back and just watch it. And when it all topples and burn, take our time there. That's how everything works. America's a very young country. We forget that. It's a powerful country, but it's a very young country. Look at Britain. Look at France. Look at a bunch of different countries. The best country that we look at is the same, the Western world, right? Look how many times those countries have toppled and fallen. Countless many a times, right? Look how many different regimes different empires have died, and then give risen to new countries and new city-states. And how I would say some of the newer things are often better, because like I said previously, you have to learn from your past. You have to learn from the past, take from our ancestors, take from the people, our elders who taught us, and then add something new to make something better. We're going to take what American taught us, we're going to take it in, but we need to realize that it's best for us if this whole thing just goes away. And then afterward, we rebuild our own little nation here.
Right. I'm in the hope that, and hopefully starting with your generation, I know you've heard Sean Combs, Puffy, and he mentioned something, holding the vote. And I kind of agree with them there, because like with other cultures, the Jewish community, I love to use them for an example, because honestly, they got their thing going on. They got it together where, they demand things for their vote. You have to take care of that community if you're going to get their vote. It seems like Black people, we just vote. We vote for what makes us feel good, but we never get anything out of it. We need somebody to specifically say, hey, they're going to get this, and we're going to uplift their community there, or something like that. So hopefully the new generation, and hopefully during this election, we start holding those officials accountable. So, hey, you're going to be a one term if you don't give us anything. So I will hope that, your generation starts that change. And that would be great for me. That would be great for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we could do that. And
Right.
that would probably be the best point of action, because in all honesty, we're still gonna have to deal with these same issues for a little bit while. No matter what happens in the future, things don't topple and change in a year. You know what I mean? So
Right.
we're gonna at least have another decade, maybe two, with things like this. And for those decade too, I feel as though there are things that we could do to put it in a better place. And like you said, I like to use the Jewish community as an example, because, well, not only are the Jewish community descended from Black people, but that's a whole other thing. They're also the prime example of what I feel as though how a minority should act in America to try to better themselves or better their community. Because, like you said, look how they're running. They almost control like parts of central industries in America. Like, they literally do control like the media and stuff like that. And they're a minority in here. How does that work?
And they support their own. They buy from their own. They make sure they take care of their own first, and
keep the Black dollar in the community. They keep the Black dollar in the community. We do not. That's also something I want to say real quick. Make sure to keep the Black dollar in the community, because I saw a statistic. I'm sorry. What happened?
I'm here.
I saw a statistic like 2 years ago, and it stuck with me my entire life. And it was like showing how long a dollar stays within the community before it leaves for every different minority, a different ethnic group. White people, it was like a long time, a very long time. Asians, it was days. Even Hispanics, Latinos, it was a couple days. I think we had 4 hours. We had 4 to 2 hours. It stays in the Black community. Like our dollar stays in the Black community for 4 to 2 hours. That's ridiculous. That's
like it's a I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Dr. Claude Anderson. He
yes,
he had Powernomics. He often talks about that. I'm with you. I don't actually have the stats correct, but I think he was like, maybe for the Jewish community or something like that, the dollar circulates around 15 times. And then it was going down, and we got to the Black community. It was like it hardly circulates at all. As soon as we get paid,
really,
we're
paying to something else.
And a lot of that is we don't own anything. We may own like a barber shop, or we may own hopefully a mechanic shop. Not a lot of them, but you think when you get paid, you go get something to eat. Usually in the Black community, it's mostly Oriental people that have like the carryouts and stuff like that, or you're going to maybe a franchise place, but we don't really own grocery stores, anything like that. So when you start thinking of the major things that you want to go and purchase, we don't even own it. So we got to start owning things, and then we got to start supporting the Black people that own it. And in the UNIA, we always say race first, and it's not saying we hate and the collective Black people movement. It's not like you say we hate other races. We just saying we got to start putting our race first. It seems like we're the only race that feels like we have to, everything got to be for everybody, but everybody else doesn't do that. And, he also says something, and this is something I'm not sure you're aware of. He broke down race. I always tell our viewers and listeners, so I know they probably, get tired of hearing this, but, he was like, race is just that. It's a race, like a track race or a car race. It's a race for economic and political power and resources. So, when you have your group, we're losing the race, so he was like, that's really what race is about. It's groups of people racing for economic and political power. And, he really broke that down and made me think like, so, it's hard for Black people to be racist because they don't control anything, and we're losing the race, right?
And also, there, in my opinion, and in the opinion of I'd say the Black scholars around me, I guess, I don't even believe racism exists without white supremacy. I believe there is no form of racism. I believe there's no form of racism that isn't white supremacy, because you look at the things we describe as racism today, and they're all colors of and descended from just white supremacy. even racism between minority groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does that come from? Who taught them that? Who taught them how to speak like that? Who taught them how to think like that? White people, the white supremacists, the people the Western civilization that controlled this, their mind and controlled the people around them. So yeah, but also that's a great point, because I was actually talking about that the other day, because I think people are about to start getting stimulus checks and money, and they're talking about certain, they bring up this conversation every, political anything. It doesn't have to be a election, just any political situation, us getting reparations and all this type of thinking. And I just want everybody to understand that if or not we get money, right, from a government or just from ourselves, like you said, we need to put that money into ourselves. Like, we need to start buying, like buy up. Like, I'm telling everybody I know, if we actually get like some real money, like some, real moving money, buy everything. Like, I don't even care what it is. If it's a park, if it used to be a liquor store, like, just buy anything in your neighborhood, anything and everything in your neighborhood. Because imagine if we owned our neighborhood. Imagine if there wasn't a union, that a bank that we had to go to. We had to go to our own banks. We go to our own people.
Exactly.
If you need money for something, and we're also, like you said, the only people that feel as though we should feel guilty about that.
Yes.
Like, we should feel bad about, like you said, race first. And somebody will look at you like, oh, he's racist.
Exactly.
For saying race first. We would never think of any other race for having that same. They all have that same mentality. There is no Latino group. There is no Asian group that looks at themselves and is like, hey, I'm gonna waste my entire life to support my oppressor, to help my oppressor. No one says that, except no one feels that way except us.
Yes.
And it's like, why? It's like, we know why. It's because we had that same slave mentality that they pushed on us and they forced us to have. But the thing is, now we're breaking it. Generational curses are being broken, and that's why they're having more and more people that think the way that me and you do.
Right.
Like, it's countless of us now. It used to be, look back in the day, that's why there's only one Rosa Parks and one Martin Luther King and one Marcus Garvey, because there wasn't a lot of people even thought like that back in the day.
Right.
Because the mentality that was forced on them, but that's not happening anymore. We're freeing our minds.
Actually, that was really when they assassinated Martin Luther King, when he started saying, hey, we need to start looking at this economic power. We need to stop looking at this political power. So yeah, that was a powerful statement right there. You made it right, very clear. We have to start looking at supporting each other, and that also comes with Black love and loving each other. And so all of that is a whole cycle. When you start supporting each other, buying from each other, you actually start loving each other and caring for each other, and your community gets built up better.
You love yourself.
You love yourself. You have pride. You have pride.
You'll teach your children to love themselves, and teach your children to love his brothers and sisters, and then look at the mentality we can have then. And that's why I'm also want to urge everybody to educate themselves. Just read. There is so many more Black scholars, and there's so much more Black history than you were taught. There's so many, and it's so much out there. Like, as a kid, I never felt that there was a lack of information about these things. It just was a lack of information being put to me. You can go out, like, I have a stack of books right there, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Shiak Auntie Diop, everybody. I got a Marcus Garvey book. I got a Rastafarian book. That's what Bob Marley and them are, if y'all didn't know.
Right.
I know you know, but
right.
But just Malcolm X biography, whatever you got to read, just read something. Understand racism, understand your race, understand what it's all about. If you understand these things, you can have a better concept of what we need to do to actually win. Because if you're thinking racism is just white people don't like us, then you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time doing anything in this world, period. But especially if you want to help us actually get out of this situation, you're going to have a really hard time. That's all you think it is. It's much deeper than all that. So I just need everybody to educate themselves. Start out slow. Go back and read what they actually did to us when we were slaves. Go back and read what happened to us before slavery. Just anything, everything.
You're right.
Educate yourself.
Yeah, that's very important. And then don't feel ashamed if you can't read. You can learn to read. We got a group. I just interviewed a guy, and he has a Facebook page called Men Read Too. He educated himself on how to read. He just started taking his time, and so like you say, self-education is important. to learn knowledge of self, to learn knowledge of your culture and things of that
Mm.
nature. Man, you're speaking the gospel today, brother. You're speaking the gospel.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to hold you up, but let me just ask, how can someone reach you, contact you if they want to get interested in your organization and just, give you guys some support?
Oh, you can always reach me personally. We're having some problems with our social media right now. Just I don't know what's about that, but you can always just reach me personally, and I'll get you in contact with that. My Twitter is at Alpha Israel 24, just like my name. My email is my full name, israelgeorgelawrence@gmail.com. You can contact me on either platforms, either way. I always text back, especially if you're actually willing to just learn or listen, or if you just want to, see somebody else who thinks like you. So, yes, just hit me up anytime.
Well, brother Israel, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're a strong, positive young brother, and all I want to do is support you and get your movement out there. So I want to thank you so much. And before you leave, hold tight. I want to get you with a brother. I think that he can help you do a couple of organizational things as far as events and stuff that he's trying to do. And you guys should probably link up. His name is Mosiah Fit. So I definitely want to pass your information to him as well. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, definitely send me that.
You got it. Peace and blessings. All right, man. What a great show. I'm always excited when I can get, the young youth out there to speak their mind and give us their point of view. As elders, we got to mentor. We got to speak to them and understand what they're seeing through their eyes. And then, mentor. Some of the things we have to understand, we might not change their views, but we can help them along with their journey. Learn from our mistakes. So what a great interview, man. This young brother is going to young student at UMBC is going to go far. So you know how we do. Give him the DJ horn and a nice round of applause. And hopefully, brother Mosiah Fit, definitely get at this young brother. He definitely wants to be a part of some of the things you're doing, and hopefully you can help him out. And also, don't forget to please go to our YouTube channel, Real Truth and Power. Real Truth and Power. Hit the like the video, hit the subscribe button, and then hit that alert bell so you can get some upcoming shows. One of our shows will be giving away $100. So I'm blessed to get a sponsor to donate so we can, give away $100. And this time we need $100 and go far. Lunch money, gas money, clothes, school supplies, whatever. So, that's an event. And also go to the Collective Black People's Movement YouTube channel. You want to go to that one as well. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. They will be showing a 24-hour event that was via Zoom with the UNIA, and it was like all of the chapters of the UNIA, African Community, and it was powerful. So we are blessed to do that, and you guys are really going to want to see it. I was watching. It was all day, so I was going in and out. And so some things I missed. So I'm so blessed that they're going to be uploading it on the YouTube channel. So again, another great show. Shout out to my brother Israel George Lawrence and the Young Black Nationalist Party. Let's give them a lot of love. Let's support our youth, and hopefully we'll be hearing from that young fella. Again, I want to bring him back on a platform where we have a lot of different variety of elders, young people, women, men, and we get into some heated discussions and come to some conclusions. So again, Hotep, peace and blessings, man. We out of here. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Let's support this young man and let's support his organization. All right. Peace and black power, Hotep.
Real truth and power, health, wealth, Let's talk about it. Real truth and power. Health. Wealth. Knowledge of self. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power. Health. Wealth. Knowledge of self. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about it.
Hold tap.